Whenever we refresh Power Query, it gets the data from the source, it transforms it, and it replaces our existing data in the workbook. But what if our existing data had manual information or manual notes that we wanted to maintain? Well, the good news is that we can create a self-referencing query so that our previous data remains as it was and any new transactions are added into the query. And that's what we're going to do in this video. So if you're ready, let's get started. Here is our example file, and if you want to work along with this video, you can follow the links in the video description box below to get hold of this file. We currently have just a single table, which is called New Transactions. It has columns for ID, item, size, and value. And below that, we have some additional values that we will use as part of our example. Initially, we want to get our new transactions into Power Query and create a table. Now, I should mention that in this example, we are using a table, but it doesn't have to be. It could be any source, an Excel workbook, a CSV file, a SharePoint list, any of those will work. But we're using a table because it makes it easier to demonstrate the techniques on this video. To get this table into Power Query, I'm simply going to select a cell in the table, then go to Data and from Table/Range. That will now load that table as a query. Let's rename this query from New Transactions to just Transactions. We're now ready to load this back into Excel. We'll go to Close and Load 2, and we want to load this as a table on the existing worksheet in cell B5. I'll then click OK. There is now a relationship between these two tables. Now, unfortunately, because of the default settings, my column widths have changed. So let's change the setting so that doesn't happen. I'll click inside the table, go to Properties, and we have Adjust Column Width. I'll uncheck that and click OK. I'll now reapply our column widths. And that means that each time we now refresh our query, I'll go to Data and Refresh All, and that doesn't change the column width of that query. There's just a small tip for you. Currently, our new transactions feed into our transactions query. So if we were to add a new row and click Refresh All, that would then pull through. But any changes we make, such as changing this value to 2000, when I click Refresh All, that is then overwritten because the original value didn't change. So how can we make it so that Power Query gets the values from the original table and doesn't overwrite them? Well, currently our table, if I go to Table Design, is called Transactions. This table is called New Transactions. So what we want is to repoint the output of our query so that it references transactions. Let's go into our transactions query. I'll go to the source step and let's change that to be transactions. We'll then close and load, and now our query table is referencing into itself. So if I change the value to 200, when we refresh, you can see that doesn't change our value. But unfortunately, this also doesn't get any new values. If I add them in and then go to Data, Refresh All, it doesn't add those new values because there's no relationship between new transactions and transactions. There are two things that we want to do with our example. Firstly, we want to create the scenario where we can add any new transactions, but it doesn't replace any of the manual changes we made to the existing transactions. And secondly, we want to add a column so that we can add manual information into our query. And when we refresh, it doesn't lose any of that manual information. So let's go and make a start, and let's look at point 2 of adding a new column for manual information. Now to do that, I could add a new column to our query table called Notes. When we do that, we've got a manual column. But when we feed this table into Power Query, it will take notes as being in our table. It will then query itself, bring that back, which means that when we click Refresh All, it will add a Notes to column. This Notes To column is the manual column. We don't need this column at all. So let's remove that from our output, and let's also delete this column. Now when we click refresh, it doesn't add that manual column. This column is no longer a manual column, it's part of our dataset. So that means that if we add notes, let's say this was out of stock, now available in small. When we click refresh all, it doesn't lose our notes. We also maintain those. So now let's go and look at how we can add the additional transactions without replacing the previous changes we made. To do that, we're going to select on our new transactions table again, and we're going to go from table/range. We're going to keep this as new transactions. We're also going to take our transactions query and we're going to duplicate that. And let's call this existing transactions. So our goal is to take our existing transactions, find out what the new transactions are, and then stack those together. So we have our existing and then our new. That means that in our new transactions, we're going to go to the home ribbon and click merge queries. We want to merge that with our existing transactions, and we're going to select ID in both of those queries. Now, it's important for this technique to work that we do have a unique ID for each row. If you don't have a unique ID, you might be able to combine columns together to create a unique ID, but it's essential that there is a unique ID because we use that to identify which are the existing and new transactions. I just want to interrupt things here to tell you about our Excel Academy. In there, we have the courses, tools, and masterclasses you need to truly master Excel and save huge amounts of time. But we also know that's not enough. What happens if you have questions? What happens if you get stuck? Well, in that academy, we have an active community and live Q&A calls. So that means anytime you don't know what to do, anytime you have questions, you can ask them. And myself and other members of the community will get you back on track. So to find out more about the Excel Academy, just head on over to exceloffthegrid.com. With our two ID columns selected, we'll come down to join kind and we're going to use left anti. These are the rows that only exist in our first table. I'll select that and click OK, which means we now only get the two new rows. It's added an additional column called existing transactions. We don't need that, so I will select that and press delete. That means we now have the two tables we need, our existing transactions and our new transactions. Let's come back to our transactions query, and rather than our source, which was referencing our transactions table, we're going to change this so that it equals our existing transactions. I'll then use an ampersand, which will then stack those two tables together, and we want the new transactions. When we commit that, we now get both of those tables stacked together. Let's close and load this back to Excel. I'm going to close and load too. And in here, we can close and load as a connection only. I'll select that, click OK. And that's it. We're now done. We have a self-referencing query that adds new transactions. If I add 3 new rows and click refresh all, you can see we get those at the end of our query. If I make a change to an existing row and click refresh all, it doesn't change that previous transaction. Now, what happens if we lose transactions in our original table? I'm going to cut those, paste those elsewhere, and then I'll add my new transactions. So that means we only have transaction 15 and 16. Well, if you think about it, all of these are our existing transactions. We have our new transactions. So Power Query is simply going to stack these two tables together. When I click refresh all, it doesn't overwrite or remove any previous values, but it has added the new values. So that means that if we take one of our rows and let's delete that row, that when we click refresh all, that row won't be reinstated because it's not in our new transactions and it's not in our existing list of transactions. And that is how we can create a self-referencing query that adds any new transactions but doesn't overwrite any of our manual changes. If you like this video, then don't forget to subscribe and get notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.